1 second. Okay, testing. All right, cool. Yo. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Mitchell. In today's episode, I'll be talking about why complaining is holding you back from success. And I do these YouTube lives every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And so if you guys are watching this on the live, if you feel free to write down and let me read some of your messages. But if you're watching this on a rerun, leave a comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And so let's get right into it. All right. So of course, I always got to start out with a recap episode, and a recap episode is going to be on recentering yourself is a strength. And that episode was on 9/30 last year. So September 30th, 2023. If you guys want to go back to the episode, feel free. But I just took one of the slides I'm going to be talking about today. And it has, it pertains to what topic that we're going to be talking about today too as well. And so the slide is on weak men blame others. And there's a quote that I wanted to start out with by Don Shula. And it starts with, the superior man blames himself. The inferior man blames others. And you're wondering, Mitchell, why do you choose this? Let me explain. So, reason why there's a certain group out there that blames women, that blames other people, that just constantly point fingers on other people besides themselves, right? How they explain, reasons why there's a certain group of women that blames people, certain women. This is their true nature. All women are like this. They make this. 20%. 20% of men gets 80% of women in dating apps, right? Even the average looking woman gets, like 20% of men gets about 80% of women. And so, and they say like, oh, women control sex, and yeah, to some degree, they do. Absolutely, because at the end of the day, we're the one that pursues them in the beginning, and then towards the end, they pursue us. Now, on the flip side of the coin, what's up, Tracy? How you doing? Women do like strong men. They like leaders. They like someone that could provide. They like somebody that could protect. So there's a lot of men out there that basically needs to man up. They just gotta man up. And so it's like, what does that mean? And if you don't know what does manning up mean, it's really easy to kind of fall into that. Oh, I gotta be this type of dude. I gotta do this. I gotta be strong. And absolutely, it's true. But there's ways to do it. And if you don't understand how energy works, this is a place to learn. And so, like I said, there's a lot of men out there, right, that needs to man up, be the man that the woman wants them to be. What's up, Bali, Indonesia? How you doing? welcome. And there's this word, and I hope I'm not butchering this. It's pronounced, I think it's German. Say Schadenfreude. 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 In English, I think it's pronounced as epicaricacy. So, it's pleasure. It's basically pleasure derived by someone from another person's misfortune. So basically, I'm excited for your downfall. There are people out there that can't wait for your downfall. You just gotta be aware of those certain people out there. So now, I'm going back to the certain group of people. The certain group of men that just complain, like, oh, dating apps like this, oh, it's not in my favor, oh, boo fucking who. Go out there and start talking to women then if dating apps don't work for you. Look, it's just one of those things that just doesn't work for you. Maybe you look shitty as hell in photos, but you look a lot better when you're talking to people. Like, you can exude your confidence, or maybe you're just not doing something correctly, and you just gotta readjust. How you look, how you dress, it's okay. Maybe not everything's for you when it comes to photos, okay? But when you're talking to people, you never know. You never know. Women love confidence. That's the number one most attractive thing to any woman is confidence. So now, back to them. You just did a shitty job at vetting and vetting your dating prospects. And now you're blaming other people, because blaming other people is so much easier than blaming yourself. And be like, oh, what were certain things that I could do to become better? That's a great question to ask. Excuse me, I have a cough drop. My throat's a little itchy, so. So, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Jim Rohn. And if you think about it, the world is full of people willing to live lives of quiet desperation. Living lives with least resistance. They much rather do nothing than to do something, and it's easier to always complain. More people would do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. Just remember that. More people would do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. What's up, Maddox? How you doing? Is it Beak? Hello, Fall. Welcome to the chat. So, the truth is, most people won't take the advice that I'm about to give you, or any advice that I'm about to give you. But recentering yourself, it takes a lot of work. It's when things are bothering you, you have to rationalize in your own mind and understand how you feel is valid of how you feel. You just got to rationalize it, be like, what is it that I need to understand about myself, and why do I feel that certain way, and how can I solve that problem? It takes a lot of process. All in the meanwhile, all the shit is being built up right over here. It's like, it's a lot going on, but it takes work. And the more you do it, the more competent you will be. And the more competent you will be, the more confident you will have in yourself. So that next time when it does happen again, you're more well-grounded. And that's the beauty of working on yourself. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of courage to step out of that and start believing in yourself too. So it takes awareness. Then it takes participation. Then going through the hurdles of failure before you get a success. And if you're lucky, you might be able to get success on your first try. I'm from California. So if you're lucky, you might get success in your first try. But you will run into things. You're going to run into things that you don't have an answer to. And so then what? So if you think about it, success is never crowded along the extra mile. It's just that most people give up right before they get there. And it depends on where do you want to be, okay? And that's by, blaming other people. And there's a link between that, because people that complain a lot, they like to blame a lot. And so, well, let's go on to the meat of the topic, which is our topic, why complaining is holding you back from success. So let's talk about the brain. Okay, the brain. I'm gonna give you some statistics, and not statistics, but like some facts. Okay, I couldn't find an article, but I went online, and it seems like a lot of people have spoke about this article, so it sounds pretty valid. Anyways, if you guys know this article, please send it to me. I'd love to read it. But they were talking about how the brain, a 1996 study from Stanford found that complaining for 30 minutes or more can damage your hippocampus. You're like, where the hell is your hippocampus? It's basically towards the bottom of your brain. I don't know how to explain it. It's like on the bottom of... Anyways, you can look it up. It's called a hippocampus. The study also found a link between long-term exposures to stress and shrinking of the hippocampus. And you're like, okay, what does it do? So the hippocampus is a part of the brain that's involved in problem solving, learning, emotions, and forming new memories. And there's plenty more, but that's just, the gist of it. So you're more likely to be more stressed as you continue to complain. Okay, so just remember that. The more you complain, the more stress you will have. But you have to understand your brain works in a certain way. So unless you rewire yourself, it's always going to be like that. So now, why complaining is not beneficial? So back to rewiring your brain. It's basically when you constantly complain, you're constantly telling your brain, you're rewiring it that, you know what, my brain is designed for negativity because that's what it's used to. And so complaining can create a cycle of negativity or negative thoughts that can rewire the brain to make it easier to complain in the future. So if you haven't noticed, people that complain a lot continues to complain a lot. People that don't, they tend to find solutions. They try not to complain. And if they do, you're more inclined to listen to them because you're like, damn, they don't complain a lot. But when they do, it's something really valid and they need to figure it out. So this could lead to a pessimistic outlook on life that's difficult to change. I'm talking about why people complain and how it could hinder your success. So our brain is designed to work efficiently. It's not designed to work harder than it should. So in terms of survival, our brain opts to the quickest way to connect to our neurons, right? It's like, well, we're already used to complaining, and it's easier and it's efficient because we're connecting all these things. You've been doing this your whole time. Let's just continue to complain because it's so much easier. Yeah, I struggled with that with my last job. I had a dude who I was friends with, and all he did was complain, and it did affect you over time subconsciously. I'm glad you talked about that because that's something that in my ongoing slides that I'll be talking about. So thank you. Is it Russian standard? Thank you. So in terms of survival, that's how our brains, it's connected, it's easier, it's designed to work efficiently. So because you're complaining more, not only does it cause you to complain more in the future, it also causes your brain to reduce its ability to solve problems. You're telling your brain, you're teaching your brain, shrink, don't get bigger, right? The hippocampus, that's responsible for problem solving, learning emotions, and forming new memories and things like that. You're shrinking that part of your brain. So you're fucking yourself up by complaining a lot. That's in layman's term, right? Now, my next slide is downward spiral, okay? What's a downward spiral, right? Now, you're stuck, maybe not you, maybe someone that you know, right? Or maybe it is you, but you're down into this downward spiral. Now you're stuck in this negativity loop. You're complaining becomes your default, which changes how other people perceive you. And I get this whole thing, like, don't worry about what other people think about you. But at the same time, you still want to benefit yourself. So if complaining is not really beneficial for you, you should still do it for yourself to not complain so much. So anyways, it changes how people perceive you. It's normal to you because it's what you've been used to. On top of that, it increases cortisol level. What's up, Matt? How you doing? It increases cortisol level. It increases your fight or flight chemical reaction in your body, right? And it produces when your body encounters danger, which is essential for survival. Like, it's important, fight or flight. When shit hits the fan, you gotta go. But if you constantly having a high levels of cortisol, means that your body is constantly having high blood pressure, because when you're in this fight or flight mode, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, you're more alert, right? Everything, you're a little bit more sensitive to things. It also weakens your body's immune system, right? And that is because constant stress to your body, especially increasing cortisol levels in your body, it decreases your body's lymphocytes. It's the white blood cells that helps fight off infections. So what does that mean? It means that you're a little bit more prone to getting sick, right? So with less white blood cells in your body means that your body is more prone to being sick. It increases the risk of chronic diseases such as obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease. Great. Oh, you're not interrupting me at all. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. But more than anything, I hope you guys get a good value of watching this live. So anyways, increases the risk of chronic diseases such as obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. And you're like, how is that even related? Well, stress can be related to both diabetes and obesity. It could be related through the release of hormones in your body, like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones can cause blood sugars to rise and also make it harder for insulin to work properly. So then when you have high blood sugar, your body's like, oh shit, gotta produce. It's like you're teaching your body to respond in a way just because you're complaining a lot. It's like, beware of that. Beware of that, okay? Now, some of y'all might know me personally. Some of y'all don't. Maybe some of y'all know me from here or on other social media platforms, right? But, you know, everybody has this thing where everybody feels like they need to vent a little bit. And there's a big difference between venting and complaining, right? So for my next slide, I'll be talking about there's a difference between venting and complaining. Yeah. As a kid, say, for example, you're 5 years old, right? Your emotions, it runs your life. That's what it does. You're 5 years old. You don't know what it is. If you don't get your candy that you wanted, you're going to complain. You're going to cry. You're going to, throw a temper tantrum, whatever, etc., right? It's kind of expected because you're not able to really fully control your emotions. But on the other side of the coin, part of being an adult is being able to contain your emotions. How you contain your emotions. It's not to say that you can't feel your emotions, but how will you contain it? Because if you're 40 years old and not 5 years old anymore, you're 40 and you lack emotional self-control, what do we call you? We call you immature, right? Call you immature. You wouldn't look at a 5-year-old kid and be like, didn't get his candy, he's crying right now. That kid's immature. You wouldn't say that. You would, however, you would say that to someone in the 30s, 20s even, or even in the teens. You're like, you're complaining over like spilled milk. Like, stop complaining, clean that shit up, right? So now there's a difference because venting and complaining. The difference is containing feelings. Containing. That's the key word for the side. Containing feelings is not the same as suppressing them. There's a big difference. It's learning how to contain your feelings. It's not by pressing it down and pretending none of that shit happened. Containing means that you have clear boundaries. And it's basically not losing your shit when those emotions are rising up. And when you feel like it's way easier to punch this motherfucker in the face. Like, I get it, okay? You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to contain those emotions. So, not losing your shit. So you can tend to your emotions constructively. Venting is contained, which means that it has a beginning and an end. Venting is done in a contained space. Also, best idea is to not be stressed out. So venting is contained in a contained space. There's a beginning, you want to talk about it, and then there's an end. The goal of venting is that you reach a constructive solution, something that you could solve, that makes the situation a little bit better, if not fully better, right? Because I know for damn sure, I have a confidant, I have one of my closest friends. He's in Hawaii, right? I call him all the time. I'll be like, hey, I gotta talk about some shit. Like, he's my confidant. I go to him, I talk to him. And he hears me out because everybody needs that one good friend. And he's my good friend, and he always been there for me. Like, we were co-workers in the beginning. He didn't really like me in the beginning, but then after a while, he's like, all right, Mitchell, yeah, all right. You're actually all right. So I vent to him a lot. right? He listens to my BS, and it makes me feel a lot better, right? And when I talk about things, if you think about it in a terms of energy, when I talk about things, when I talk a lot, it's feminine energy just rising up. Feminine, feminine, feminine. And it's important that I have a good friend like that, because say you got a girl and all you do is bitch and complain, but you never solve anything. Like eventually she's gonna see you as like you don't know how to solve anything. All you do is complain. She can't see you as a leader. And it's not to say that you can't complain at all. It's just that there has to be a beginning and there has to be an end. And venting is one of those. I'm not sure what you're talking. I never had a wife. I never had a wife. But I'm curious how you even got to there. But anyways, back to venting. Is being in this contained space. It's constructive solution, making the situation better. So you have this good friend, you know, and what I've noticed is, and this is something that I really enjoy having, especially having him like just on the phone, because he's in Hawaii and I'm in Cali. I'm like, towards the end, we always give each other like advice, but more importantly, he hears me out, because most of the time, most people that needs to complain, they just need to be heard, and there's certain times where I just need to be heard. Usually, I'm pretty good at solving my own problems, but when things really do hit the fan, I just need to let it out a little bit. Otherwise, I need to suppress it, and it's no longer contained. And so, you know, I really do. I don't take that for granted at all, because, you know, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have somebody like that, or they feel like they do, but it's not as good as they want it, you know. And I have a really good balance part of that in my life, and so I'm always grateful. And I'll speak about being grateful towards the end, because that's very important. So, anyways, complaining is not contained, okay? Whereas venting is contained. Complaining constantly is not contained. It's a non-contained emotional expression. It leaks onto the things that we say. It taints relationships and can build a culture of finger pointing. This is it, this is you, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're talking about an ex. Oh, okay, yeah. Not a wife. And we could discuss that a little bit more afterwards if you want. Probably not in this show, but yeah, my social. There's like my YouTube, my Instagram, my TikToks, and all that. Okay, so it taints relationships, and it can build a culture of finger pointing, blaming other people. Right, blaming. Most people that complain blames other people, never themselves, and it regresses into this kind of adolescent type of mindset. It's like, oh, he did this, she did that, right? Rather than being accountable. And so if you notice, there's a foundation in this channel, especially with all my lives that I talk about. Everything I talk about is about being self-reliant. It means participating in your own rescue. No one's here to save you. You must save yourself. There's people that can help you a little bit, but they can't help do it for you. Nobody can. It's just like a muscle. Nobody can help you work out. You got to do it in order to be more fit, in order to be more muscular, if you will, right? Like things like that. Like nobody's there to save you, in other words. You have to participate in your own rescue. So it's being self-reliant. And it's not blaming other people. It's not about pointing fingers. It's about how you can work on yourself and to become more than you are, because there's beauty behind that. But a lot of people don't understand how to get there, and I will explain a little bit more towards the end of the video. All right, so please be patient. But anyways, complaining is not contained. It taints relationships. built, this blame culture. You're not accountable, right? You don't take any accountability. There's no responsibility behind that. So be careful being the one that's constantly complaining or being around someone who complains constantly, because it might rub off on you. It might rub off on you. Excuse me. Okay, take a little sip. What's up, Vic? How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Good to see you. We gotta link up. We gotta get some food together. All right. But anyways, next slide is about fussing about one thorn among the roses, right? And there's a quote that I want to talk about by Jim Rohn. And just stuck with me ever since he said it, which was, every day stand guard at the door of your mind. Every day to stand guard at the door of your mind. And every day I wake up and I protect that at all costs, which also means that I don't listen to bullshit. I don't let other people try to ruin my day because they're having a bad day. Because a lot of people like to pull you down to their level so that they can feel a little bit better about themselves, because that's what their reality is. And so they try to pull you down to their reality, right? And so if you look at it in this idea, what you focus on expands. With the law of attraction is the idea that positive thoughts and actions lead to positive outcomes, while negative thoughts and actions lead to negative outcomes. So complaining doesn't just affect us, it affects other people around us too as well. So if you look at it in that perspective, what is the solution to complaining, right? If you're someone that finds yourself constantly complaining, the best way to deal with constant complaining or negativity is developing a sense of gratitude. Developing a sense of gratitude. By practicing gratitude, it helps reduces your cortisol level by about 23%. And we already talked about what happens when you constantly complain, right? Cortisol goes up. You're more prone to all, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, obesity, right? Like, just by complaining about 30 minutes a day, it shrinks your hippocampus. It rewires your brain to constantly go back to complaining, because that's what our brain is meant to do because of efficiency. Oh, congrats. All right. So complaining steals our mental bandwidth. So what is mental bandwidth? Our brain basically is our brain attentional resource, or our cognitive capacity, like how much we can really deal with in that day, right? Because when you feel mentally drained or mentally fatigued, you don't really think straight, and you might say the wrong things or think the wrong things, and there's consequences behind those, because how you think and how you feel will tend to your behaviors, and what you do is going to affect you one way or another. So while you might not think that it's really doing much about taking away your mental bandwidth, because you never really spent a lot of time thinking about it, much of what you do day to day has a huge effect onto you. You just don't know it, because it's you kind of just go about that day. So this is why it is very important that you find yourself in a happy place first. When you find yourself in a happy place, before you get into a relationship, before you get into this job. And I get it, there's certain things that we just gotta do. Sometimes I just need a job just so I could pay the bills. And so you find any job that pays the bills, but then you're like, damn, this is miserable. So then you find ways on how to develop those skills. And so that maybe you're not at this job forever, so that you could do something a little bit better for yourself, right? It's supposed to be a temporary placeholder so that you can become more than you are. But it requires work. It requires you going back home and be like, you know what? I want to spend maybe 1 to 2 hours a day to getting good at what I love doing. Because that's how you become great at things. That's how you become exceptional at things. And when you become exceptional with things that you love doing, other people will see that. And it has to be an emotionally compelling reason why you want to do it, so that it's a gravitational force. It just pulls you in. It's no longer about you being motivated anymore. It's this is what you do when you wake up. That's the first thing you think about. And it's the last thing that's on your mind right before you sleep. It's those are the things that, to a degree, it's being obsessed. Oh, thank you. Is it Bricky? Thank you. So you must be in a happy place first. Everything you do has a cause and effect. So if you look at yourself in the mirror, or you look at your bank account, or that you feel that your life isn't where it should be, reflect it back to how you are feeling. Does those feelings cause you to be emotionally erratic, for example? What is this behavior what is this behavior that you have when you're feeling emotional? What is it? So all of these add up to your day to day. So what do you have? So my question to you is what have you observed with the effects of complaining in your life and to other people? Matt, you said it's great listening to you. It's amazing. I don't have TikTok or Instagram, but it's okay. Well, this is a great place. This is a great place. And I'm glad you're listening to this, because as long as it helps other people, to me that's the most important thing. All right. There is one more quote that I want to talk about, and it's by Coach Cory Wayne. And I had to read his quote because I thought this quote was so strong and so powerful, and it means a lot. And let me know if it means what it means to you as it means to me, right? Because I'm trying to get a sense of what you guys are perceiving as well as what I'm receiving from reading this quote. And I heard this a few times. Coach Cory Wayne, one of my biggest inspirations as to why I'm doing what I'm doing today. So shout out to Coach. A lot of what I've learned was because of Coach. So, hope one day, I hope he gets to hear this. So, Coach Cory Wayne, quote. And you could find this quote on YouTube or by searching "The Balanced, Centered, and Successful Man." The Balanced, Centered, and Successful Man. You could search that up, okay? And the quote goes, "Being successful in your romantic and professional life is mostly the result of an inner transformation. By becoming focused on creating an emotionally compelling vision for your life with equally emotionally compelling goals, you become focused on your life's purpose and mission like a laser beam. What you focus on in life will expand." Law of attraction. When you focus on becoming great at something you love for a living, your life takes on meaning, purpose, and value. When you feel like you are striving to become and are in the process of becoming what you were put on this earth to do, you will feel like you have a great reason for living and playing full out. This makes you happy and causes others to notice your happiness and satisfaction with life. The most attractive people are people who have come alive on inside and on the inside with a burning desire to be what they can be. In a world where most people major in minor things and settle for a life that is less than what they are capable of living, this makes you stand out as a precious, rare, and valuable person. Everyone loves a winner, not a whiner. Coach Cory Wayne. So, the magic you're missing is the work you're avoiding. I like that. Yeah, that's beautiful. Beautifully said, Bricky. And if I highly suggest that you guys really focus on this, just going back to it, right? If you want to read it, go to his website, Understanding Relationships, type in "The Balanced, Centered, and Successful Man," and this will pop up. Just type in a quote, "Being successful in your romantic and professional life." It will pop up. And I want to give a shout out to him too, because he just recently, about a month or two ago, Coach Cory Wayne, he released a members only subscription, and he releases extra videos for people that subscribe to him, which is about $10 a month. Or if you subscribe to him on his website, understandingrelationships.com. Oh, thank you, Evan. Appreciate it. We almost got the same last name. 10. but mine's 10. Yeah, I would highly recommend going to coaches and, subscribe to them. If you do it for a year, you save an extra additional 25%. Um, Eventually, I will start rolling out something very similar to what he does. Um, but he's inspired me a lot. He inspired. So if you, some of y'all may know me, some of y'all don't. But in the past, I felt I had hit rock bottom. At least to what I experienced was rock bottom. And I wish I had I wish I had people that has taught me this. And in the beginning, I was struggling. I didn't know what to do. I started like aimlessly, kind of blindly looking at advice out there, and there were great advice and there was exceptional advice. And to me, exceptional advice was by listening to coach. And then in the beginning, like, don't get me wrong, I judged the book by its cover. I judged the hell out of him. I was like, what does this bald man know anything about, like, attraction? What does he know about this and what do you know about that? And in the beginning, it was about figuring it out, how, like, oh, what can you do to get this back in your life, to get this person back, or get into the place that you want to be back. Most people that find him are usually people that have a pain point. So whether or not, like, you're trying to find, like, you're trying to get your ex back or something like that, like. And what I found was that it was way greater than what I expected. Most people go in and be like, well, how can I get my ex back? And they're like, what are tips and tricks and how? So he doesn't teach you tips and tricks. He could give you tips and tricks, but the baseline behind all that is, the beauty is that it becomes your philosophy. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. And I hope whatever I'm giving you right now, you're taking this advice. If there's anything that I could ask for you guys, is that with every video, I want you guys to, like, whether it's on a piece of paper or on a notebook, write it down. Write down what are your goals. Write down what resonated with you, because what you focus on expands. So if you wake up every day, and maybe you're in a situation where you wake up every day and you're not really feeling the best, just know that not everybody has that opportunity to be able to just get up and just walk to the bathroom and brush your teeth. You know what I mean? Like, there's people out there that's struggling to fight for their lives every single day, and you're able to just get up and be like, let me just go reach over and grab my tea and drink. And by developing a sense of gratitude, you will stop complaining so much. You stop complaining about that little one thorn among the roses. And you start looking at the bigger picture. And it requires you to pay attention versus trying to get attention from other people. Because most of the time, when we're complaining about certain things, it's we're so zoomed into what we are feeling, and we're not really focusing on the bigger picture by zooming out and seeing for what it is. An example was, I was complaining about certain things before that, like, kind of got me into my emotions. And it's good when it's great, but I feel like there's a lot of work that I still need to do for myself. And just being aware of it is the first thing. And so that's going to take me a little bit of time. And I know there's certain things that I need to work on. And I think that's the beauty of being human, is that we all have flaws. We all have things that we need to work on. And whatever that thing is, the beauty of that is it's never ending. I feel great every day because I know how great life is. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Matt, if you don't mind me asking, how did you find me? Was it like you accidentally stumbled upon something, or you're searching for something? I'm curious because I really don't know how this works. I could be better at it. And I can't wait to become great at what I do. You know what I mean? I love doing this. Been doing this for a minute. Been listening to Coach for a long time. He helped me immensely. It helped me ground myself as a person. I noticed that I did complain a lot before. And I still kind of, fall into my old habits every now and then. But the beauty of it is to not let that run my life, not let it contain my life. And it could be a part of my life for a little bit. And it's not to say like, oh, you need to suppress your feelings, but it's how you contain your emotions, and it's how you vent it out. I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram story. I posted something on. I scrolled and find you. Oh, okay. Yesterday, I don't want to get into super details about it, but yesterday I had a pretty shitty experience at a restaurant, right? And I noticed that I complained a lot, and as I was complaining, I realized that I was like, shit, you know what, Mitchell, you doing an episode on complaining, and you're complaining right now, and you're not really finding much of a solution. So I was like, God damn, okay, let me go check it out. Let me kind of feel it again. Let me go back to it. So you gotta feel it to heal it. And sometimes, especially with all the emotions is kind of rising up, right? Very feminine type of energy, and I have feminine energy. It's like, how do I understand that? By understanding my feminine, so that I could get into my masculine energy. How can I solve that problem? How can I find a solution? How can I break this barrier by overcoming challenges? Because part of having feminine energy as a masculine person is that feminine energy helps smooth out the edges of becoming too masculine. Whereas, like, most people that thinks about feminine energy or masculine energy, they think about like being strong, being a protector, and absolutely, I think that is too. But it's also being cool, calm, and collected. It's being about emotionally regulated, not losing your shit, but also not taking shit from other people too as well. But understanding how to confront, and just recently, I confront a lot of things, but by confronting, I don't just confront just to confront. I understand why and how I can do it. And you stop right away at the moment you feel complaint. And you stop right away at the moment when you feel complaint. I didn't stop. I wouldn't say I stopped right away. It was definitely. What's up, Cynthia? It's good seeing you here. It was there. It was there definitely. It was bothering me a lot. And then, let me say, my solution was, I was like, based off how they treated me, based off how I felt, how other people felt entitled, and they felt like they deserved what they did. And obviously it wasn't fair how it panned out. There was, hindsight, I'm looking back, how could I have, approached that situation a little bit better? And I don't think I handled it bad. I think, I, as a person, I always like to optimize how I could have operated. And I felt like, it would have been better. It would have been better if I just got up and left. But I didn't. And a big part of that was because I was in a time constraint. I didn't have a lot of time. And so because I didn't have a lot of time, I was kind of forced to be like, fuck, I'm kind of stuck here. I got to stay here. I got to eat because we have something to do the following. And we were late to that. And it kind of everything just bottled up. And when things start bottling up, little things starts to affect you. You feel like that too, but no need to. Yeah, it's easier to be in that mindset when you're not in that zone, right? In that type of emotion. But I was like, yeah, I think I should have left. I think it would have been a bigger statement. um, and just never go back, right? Because as I was telling other people earlier, I was saying I only go where I'm being celebrated, not where I'm being tolerated. And I guess that, you know what? Thank you guys. I appreciate it because I couldn't really find the words in the beginning because I was just like so upset. But I think it went against my values. You know, it really did. I stayed in a place where I was being tolerated, not being celebrated. All because I was like, fuck it, I'm hungry, you know, and I like these food. And it's not the first time I've been here. And so because of that, I stayed, and the service was bad. Everything kind of went down to shits. It caused other people, like, there was another person that was waiting right behind me. Like, long story short, we was waiting for about 20 minutes. Me and this guy, he came in 5 minutes later, so he waited about 15 minutes. This other chick just walks in with two kids, starts scouting. It's a first come, first serve, so I understand. It's not her fault, but at the end, that's what happened. And then she talked to me. She was like, you know, kind of up in my face. I was like, hey, people are waiting. She was like, isn't it first come, first serve? I was like, I understand. I understand it is. But we didn't have to play musical chairs. Like, there's a civil way of approaching this, and this is how we wanted to do it. And so for this reason, this is what happened. And so I was like, it is what it is. And so I was like, and so she ended up was like, well, you can take this. And then it caused the other guy to lose his spot, all because she cut in front of him. And then she played victim. And then, you know, then on top of that, so all that was going on. And then I didn't get any service for about 20 minutes. I waved down 3 waiters. I went up to a fourth waiter, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, let me help you. And not only that, not only did I wave at them, they looked at me dead in the eye and just looked away. And I was like, so no acknowledgement, right? And so, yeah, everything kind of just, but ultimately it just, you know, thank you guys, because that's where I couldn't figure it out. It went against my value, and I still tolerate it. And I always talked about whatever you tolerate, you invite more of. You invite more of. You go where you celebrate it, not where you tolerate it. And whatever you tolerate, you invite more of. You want to be around people and places that celebrates you, that's willing to jump fences for you, not stay on the fence. And so because I stayed in a place like that, it kind of went against my values. And these are my core values. And so for the longest time, I couldn't put into words until just right now. So you guys are watching it live. And yeah, thank you guys. So I feel like that too, but no need to. I feel like unfair sometimes. Then I look at the big picture. Everywhere we go, we're gonna be like that with certain people and things. And you know what's the funny thing about that, Cynthia, is that it happened throughout the entire day. I felt like everyone around me, I started had to ask questions. I was like, it wasn't me? Was it me that caused everybody all this? Like, was it me? Like, I'm usually pretty good with people. When I talk to people, usually everyone's like excited, they're having a good time, right? Like, and I'm like, but everybody felt like they were in a shitty day. I feel you. My last job was a bad scenario all around, and tired of people who turn things around on you and then complaining. Yeah, like that's not something I want to be around, you know? Yeah, but it's also like I couldn't help the fact that, like, okay, if everybody around me was like that, like, was I the cause of something? Like, maybe there was something on my face, maybe it's like the certain type of energy that I was giving out to certain people. Couldn't figure it out. I really couldn't figure it out. But, you know, regardless, I think it was a valuable lesson in hindsight. And thank you guys for being a part of this journey with me, because you just experienced one other journey with me, which was, you know, it really did go against my values. And that's something that really affected me. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just turned 36. Lots of goals in my life, lots of things I want to focus on. But I would you know, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for Coach. I really wouldn't. And you know, his work has helped me out a lot. And you know, go give him a follow. Go, you know, if you like his content, you like it more, buy his book. It helped me tremendously. And I that's not something that I would say like that. You know, so you'll go check him out, go read his book, and if you like a little bit more, you'll like it. I like candy. Um, yeah, go check him out. He does have more if you want to, you know, subscribe to him on like, which is like I think $10, $9.99 a month. You know, like for me, I said this in my previous videos, but I was like, he's gonna get my subscription for the rest of my life. I don't care. Like, I don't care if I'm broke. Okay, I will find $10. Right? I will unsubscribe to everything and still subscribe to him for the rest of my life. $10 a month, right? Let's just say I gotta do some math now. Hold on, like $10 a month, 120 a year, right? Let's just say I live, I don't know. Let's just say 50, right? Now, what's 50 times 120, right? 50 times 120, $5,000 for such a big impact. You have 10 grand, okay? If it's my entire life, yeah, you got 10,000. You got my 10,000, all right? Let's just say 100 years, 10,000 bucks. You got it. Because in my opinion, I was like, money you can make back. Money also you can't take with you. What's good, Robin? How you doing? Money you can't take with you, but what you can leave behind as you go is a legacy. Because at the end, if you think about it, in about 100 years, people won't know who you are, right? We will only have videos and things like that. So in about 100 years, or 200, let's just say 200, like, people's not going to remember you. Like, we barely remember people from you know, unless we're like really digging into history. But now we got videos and things like that, so it makes it a little bit easier to consolidate things. But 100, 200 years, not a lot of people's going to remember. But what you could leave behind are the things that you developed and helped others. And so you can't take everything with you, but you can leave something out for other people. And I believe that energy, you can't destroy it, but it can only be transferred. So like, you know, say for example, like when Michael Jackson passed away, huge effect on me. I cried. I don't cry a lot, but I cried. I was like this guy can't die. Like he's, you know, to me he was immortal, right? And when that really happened, I was like, they just think about all, like, just look at all dances to this day, whether you like K-pop, whether you like hip hop, crumping, gliding, like he really transferred all that. So I feel like, you know, even if it just means like a little small portion, if I could leave that little thing behind and then affect other people, that would be to me that would be the greatest thing. So I hope this video has helped you a lot. I will do a summary. All right, I know I forgot about that. I got into it. But it's not enough for me hearing your sharing. But I have to say good night first. Last night, late night in Malaysia. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Evan. Thank you for staying. Here's my summary. Which is the brain. Okay, talked about the brain. Studies also found that link between long-term exposure to stress, like complaining a lot, which is stress. It shrinks. You know, it. Hold on, let me say this. It's a long-term exposure to stress, and it shrinks your hippocampus, part of your brain, which is the part of the brain that involves problem solving, learning, emotions, and forming new memories. A downward spiral, which is increasing cortisol levels, your fight or flight chemical reaction your body produces when you encounter danger, which is essential for survival. However, if you're constantly putting yourself at this high levels of cortisol, right, or constantly having high levels of cortisol, which means that your body's constantly having high blood pressure, high blood sugar, it weakens your body's immune system, which also increases Like, it's related to people with like diabetes. It could be related to having diabetes and obesity. And because it weakens your immune system, like, what was it I said? It's like the lymphocytes in your body, your white blood cells. It no longer attacks like these foreign things, so you're more prone to being sick again. Um, difference between venting and complaining. Containing means having a clear boundary, not losing your shit, so you can tend to your emotions constructively, where there's a beginning and there's an end. And you're venting. Venting is a contained place, but it means that you're containing yourself. You're not losing your shit, nor are you taking shit from other people as well. But people that complain, that blames into other people, it kind of permeates into other people's lives too as well. So just remember, when you are complaining, not only are you affecting yourself, you're increasing cortisol, all that bad stuff that's not really good for you, you're affecting other people. Because people tend to mirror people. So if you're around someone that constantly complains, really be careful with that. Oh, she's doing lovely. She's doing lovely. Just got a bigger cat tree for her, so it's a little bit bigger. She sleeps a little bit higher now. Still designing the cat wall. Can't wait. It's good. Chat has been teaching you. Thanks, chat, for being so cool. So Matt, I don't know, you might be new here, but all I have is people that's good to me and good for me. That's it. That's all I'll ever want. I won't ever tolerate people disrespecting other people in here. So, this area is always a safe place for people to always come back or stay, depending on what you want to do. And yeah, so just remember that. Just remember that. Now, last thing was fussing about one thorn among the roses, right? Complaining doesn't just affect us, it affects people around us. So by developing a sense of gratitude, practicing gratitude reduces your body's cortisol level by at least 23%, or by 23%. I don't know where I got that statistics from. I just found it somewhere online. Okay, so please don't quote me on that. But we all understand that, like, when you're a little bit less stressed, when you're back in your zone, when you're happy and you're excited, just notice how so many more people tend to gravitate towards you. And if you live in that life more so than you live stressed, just think about it. Like, one major question that you want to ask yourself is, where do you live emotionally? Where do you tend to live most of the time? Where, like, if you look past the past 7 days, yes, I have a shitty day yesterday, but it doesn't mean that the rest of my time was shitty. It's like I choose to live in this place where I'm excited about life. People are excited to have me around, right? And I tend to, like, repel other people that no longer really wants to deal with me, or on top of that, they try to take advantage of my time and things like that. Like, because the world's full of people that's all they do is take. And in a world where you're able to give, I feel very blessed because I was able to learn something that's, into my knowledge, very high wisdom, in my opinion. There could be higher wisdoms, but to me, I was like, wow, like, this is beautiful. And I got to be able to share these with you. And wherever you are at in life, you are here today because you are exactly here at this time because you felt like it was important for you to be here, and it couldn't have happened any other way. Matt, you said I got lovely. Yeah. I got a lot of lives where chat is not so nice. It's just great to come somewhere that seems great from everyone. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people like to troll, and I get it. I'm a big troller too. I'll talk a lot of shit, right? If I'm drinking a beer and having a good time, I'll talk shit, right? Don't take it personal. And that's another thing too. So I have a lot of videos and everything. So next week I'll have another live, same time, Saturday. But I always appreciate your time, and thank you guys for staying on as long as you did, for watching this. If you guys could hit the like, hit the subscribe button, let your friends know. continue to come back, if this helps you a lot. And I'll catch you guys in the next live on Saturday. All right, peace. See you, Cynthia. Bye-bye.